Done, Smith.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Alright, we'll begin with the minutes from the last meeting. The meeting started at 6 o'clock p.m. with the Pledge of Allegiance. Previous minutes read out loud by Jeff Clark. RT was not present due to other appointments.
Yep.
Shane Smith with UDWI RNC is present and would like to get an agreement with the Town of Crane and UDWI RNC. The contract presented to the board is that UDWI remains on call for electrical repairs, along with further proposals of UDWI taking over the metering, billing, and maintenance. The contract is given to the clerk treasurer and the board members to go over. UDWI RNC is possibly proposing that they take over all electric billing and repairs and cut a check to the town if there is any extra profits. The board agreed that they need to talk this over with the attorney and determine the best course of action. It is mentioned that we are currently on a 3-phase billing cycle, and it is possible to discuss changing that within the contract. Jeff mentions that he likes the idea of UDWI coming in and helping, but the board does need to discuss this further. CJ mentions there are some long electric runs that do need broke down with additional transformers, because those current long runs only have one transformer running them. The board will take these things into consideration and give a response at a later date. There's a quote coming for concrete repairs in town, and CJ will forward this to the clerk treasurer for review. The county is interested in making a deal with the 7 acres of town property for residential homes. The board will consider what terms they would like to include and The board will consider what terms they would like to include in any possible deals on this property. The board needs to sign the square footage ordinance for what the minimum building and or home is required to be in town. The motion was already passed in a previous meeting though. We just have to sign it. CJ makes a motion to close the meeting. Jeff Clark seconds. The meeting closed at 6:21 p.m. About one, isn't it?
Sounds good.
That's exactly how it went.
That's exactly
Except so.
I have it on recording, so.
Alright. So, the board has discussed the contract with UDWI REMC. We do not want them to do a full takeover. We all agree that we just need them here for the maintenance. If we have an outage, they will be the ones to respond to come fix it, the issue. Any lines that need fixed, they'll be the ones to come fix it. That being said, for safety, I know one of their standards, they don't want anybody else working on it.
Yeah.
So that means, like last winter, we had an outage, and I took the town's pole and retripped the breakers so that Earl Street and McVeigh Street and all them would have power again.
We can't even do that now.
I saved them. It was 8 hours before RMC arrived. That would have been in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
But I will not be able to do that.
No, not under those rules.
Not under those rules.
Yeah. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So what made us decide as a council, as the town representatives, not to do their deal with them?
Because we are afraid that what's going to happen with the circle, with the main town of Crane, will happen with what's happened uptown. If you go up there, the lines are crap. Poles are crap. It's less service than what we have here. It's on, but it doesn't get serviced like it does here.
We lose control.
We'll lose all control. We'll lose all electric rights, and that's just
Not a road.
it's not a good deal for the town. So, and all three board members agreed on that. There was a quote for the concrete. I don't have it with me today, so we'll have to go over that next meeting. And the same with the 7 acres of town property for residential homes. The board still has to consider if we are willing to make a deal and what that deal would include for the town. We have not come to an agreement yet, so for now that's benched, and we'll decide at a later date. Other than that, so there's an issue with some of the parking in town. If there is a driveway, whether that it goes over the sidewalk or whatever, please don't block somebody else's driveway. There is parking for each address. We are having an issue on McVeigh Court where there is very limited parking, but a certain address does still get a parking spot. I don't think we need to do parking passes or permits. I don't think we need to try and draw lines on the roads for parking. It is what it is. We gotta allow people to park at their home. I don't know if there's anything else I can really say about that. That's just plain and simple. Other than that, I don't have anything. RT?
Nope.
Ashley?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Public questions?
The problem with the parking was not just the driveway. The individual in question was claiming that all of the parking on that circle at that top was his. That is not so.
That's why I just said, each home, if the home has a McVeigh Court address, then there is a parking spot on McVeigh Court for that home. So,
So
I don't care whose,
can anybody make a driveway?
No,
you can,
I need something clarified.
you can put your driveway wherever you want on your property. I am not going to tell you or dictate telling anybody what they can do on their property. If you want to gravel your whole front yard, by all means, if that suits your fancy, go for it. It does have an issue if it obstructs the public easement. I am aware there are a few driveways in town that do obstruct the public easement, but that is a thing that the board is going to have to decide together how we're going to remedy that situation. As far as we can't just let the homeowner cut the town's curb and sidewalk out. That would be a liability on the town. But if said property doesn't have a driveway and they're wanting one, how do we go about cutting this curb out and putting in the slope or the the skirting is what they call it.
Just do it on a case-by-case basis, make a decision.
That's why
That's what you
the
do, yeah.
question about having permits was,
No.
Yeah,
was
it's
in
not really
question.
gonna, it won't fix the problem.
It's, we're getting off topic, okay? The problem that came up was not the driveway.
Mhm.
They were told if there were extra contractors there, they didn't know, to just step over there and ask them to move. That's first. Second, the individual was claiming that despite having a driveway, he got all of the public parking at the end of McVeigh Court. That is not a policy here. And when I went through to get my driveway redone, I had to jump through 1,000 hoops to make it my property, and I had to build it on my property. So I was told I could not take away from public property, even though I own the house next door and I have a bay there. I was told I would once again, if I wanted to make a driveway into that property, I would have to jump through those same hoops. I'm not saying you want to make that a rule now. You want to change that, that's fine. But if one of my people or me goes down there and parks in public parking and my car gets towed and it's sanctioned, everybody is going to hear from my attorney.
The only thing I can ask is for basically to work together a little bit. I understand that you need your parking spot down there. That's perfectly fine. There is room to park in there without blocking the gravel driveway. I wouldn't want to put a driveway in my yard and then somebody pulling behind it, my child fall off and hit their head and I need to rush out. I don't want to look for somebody to move their car for 5 seconds. I want to get my kid in the car and go. So it's kind of we kind of got to work together here. You have a parking spot on McVeigh Court because you own property on McVeigh Court. The only ask I have is to not block the gravel driveway that they put in, simply because they put that in there to try to alleviate some of the parking
No,
issues.
they didn't. They put that in there because he wanted more space for vehicles, because he was bringing in trailers and other things. I don't have a problem with that. I have a problem with anybody telling me that this public parking space, not the driveway, not in front of the driveway, but the rest of it that goes over to the blue house, is his. If he wants it, he can maintain it. But I don't get to be cut out because I've got a little bitty tiny spot because he wants the rest. That's not acceptable. And that, if that's the consensus of the board, then I will have to take legal action, because I cannot sell a property here in town without appropriate access. I was told by this individual, well, you can just park in back. No, I won't. I will pull a car down there and park it and leave it before
Essentially,
anybody tells me that I can't use a public parking spot.
the parking on the roadway is town property. Those are not assigned parking spaces.
That's the issue I'm having. He's not coming out and saying, I'm having a problem with the driveway. He started that and then came back later and said it was about the driveway, but it wasn't. He said, came out, was rude, and said, you're in my spot where my truck is supposed to be. His truck wasn't even there. But he said, that's where my truck is supposed to park. That's not acceptable.
We've talked to him since then.
We've talked to him since, and we're going to work this out. But I do not want a public precedent set that he can say, you can't park in my spot. And if
On
we
the-
say,
on the-
that he can claim that spot, then we are giving him,
On the town property, nobody can lay claim to any spot. The town owns that property.
Yeah, it's a first come, first served. You can't.
If I pull out of my driveway in front of my house, or, I'm sorry, I don't have a driveway. If I pull out of this freaking roadway where I park in front of my house, by all rights, somebody could pull in there and park there. There's not assigned parking.
I get that, and that's what I'm saying.
And
That's what I'm trying to point out, and that's what I want it on the record, that is
on
not,
the public roadways, there is not assigned parking. The only thing I ask is that if there is a driveway, if you look out here, you can see driveways going in. Don't pull in front of somebody's driveway, because if they have to leave an emergency, it is convenient to have to, it is an inconvenience to have to try to find somebody to move. Even if it takes 5, 10, 30 seconds, it's still an inconvenience if there's an emergency or, whatnot.
I would want to park in front of somebody.
I wouldn't, I mean,
It's a rude.
just don't park in front of somebody's, where they've got a driveway in their yard, don't park in front of that. But if there's spaces over here that's open, then, yeah, that's first come, first served. That is public parking, and nobody has assigned parking here. So whoever parks in that public parking, as long as the driveway is unobstructed, whoever parks in this parking over here, first come, first served. I mean, that's fair. That's fair for everybody. Yes,
There's also a question about, abandoned cars with flat tires that haven't moved in. That's because those are taking up some of the public parking as well.
yeah, I have an
different-
issue, I have a personal issue with some of the unregistered vehicles that's parked around town,
I know
so
I know the town board has been actively trying to get somebody to come and tag them so we could get them pulled off.
that's,
But there's been 3 or 4 people that have shot me a personal message and asked, hey, could you ask about this, find out why nothing's being done.
we have to get the sheriff to do it, or the county sheriff's department to do it.
We can't legally go out there and put personal tags or move it on them cars.
Yeah,
We just don't have that kind of power.
they've seen it on the videos and some of them have actually been here and asked the question, so one of the people.
Yeah.
But she asked me again, hey, what's up with
We're
this,
very
what's
aware
going
of
on?
it.
'Cause-
We're gonna work on
Yep.
it.
Like I said, I have a personal issue with some of the abandoned vehicles, or not abandoned, but unregistered vehicles on the roads and in the driveways.
It looks
So-
crazy.
In the parking
I
bays,
would like to see
in the parking bays, you mean?
in the town parking bays and the roadways. But I would personally like to see these vehicles either moved off by the owner. I don't care if you put it in your yard, as long as it's on your property. I am not one to tell anybody what to do with their property. I don't care if you have 10 cars on your property, as long as it's on your property. Other people would disagree with that. But I'm not going to dictate what you can do on your land.
We
Just
gotta
the
do
public
what's
parking.
legally enforceable by us.
Right.
That's where it stops.
I wouldn't even be asking, like I said,
Oh,
but
it's
I've
all
been
right.
asked multiple
a
times
good
by multiple
question.
people to
If-
ask it again.
It's all right.
I guess we
In
just wanna
my
keep it
in my
fresh.
fairy tale world, I would love to see the people who have these vehicles
Oh, yeah.
that's unregistered, uninsured, move them off the public
Out of town.
thoroughfares and parking bays, off the roadways and parking bays.
We'll get it.
If you put it in your yard, if you put it in your backyard, I won't say nothing to you. I won't tell you to get rid of it. But if it is on town roadways or parking bays, then it needs to be moved, or eventually we are gonna get somebody here to tow it. This is something we have discussed
Yeah.
many times, we have agreed on.
And once they do come in and make a big sweep, people are gonna get the message going, ooh, I guess I better move that, because now the counties is, gonna cost them, not us.
Like I said, I wouldn't even ask it, but
No, it's a legitimate
Good
question. It's something that we do have an interest in, we are trying to get taken care of, but unfortunately, we're not able to get too far with it right now.
Stuff addressed.
Okay, any more questions on the internet?
Nobody on the internet's asked any questions this go. Is there any other information that you can give about, so somebody did ask last meeting if we were giving up on the solar field.
Yes, we cannot do a solar field. The county just passed a bill or whatnot saying that no data centers, no solar fields in the county. I support the data centers. I don't want data centers either. Solar field would have changed this town for the better in a big way. But unfortunately, you can't do a solar field now. Anything else?
I think that's pretty much the only thing that anybody's.
Can I get a motion to close?
A motion to close.
I'll second.